super excited to be on with our guests this week. I was gonna say this year. This week we have Breanne Kimberling on with us today, or who I like to call Bree. And just to brag on Bree, because I know Bree and she's probably not going to brag a whole lot on herself, but I want these numbers to speak volumes, guys. So the first week that we have Bree on the actual issue paid like stats is the last week in February. And I will allow Bree to definitely correct me if I am wrong in just a moment. But really where I'm going with this, guys, is Bree has got started like pretty much like we have her numbers for 90 days. And when you can look at somebody's 90-day data and you can see that like it's going up, like that's a positive thing. So in Bree's first month, okay, I'm not gonna say full time because she came in full time. In Bree's first month, she issued 27,780. What would that do for you, right? If you're the brand new agent sitting there right now and you're like, I don't know, no. I'm gonna have you like take a step back and think, what would 27,000, and let's just even call it, like, what would that do for you? What would 17 do? What would 7, right? Like, what would that do for you? And if you're like, I want to get like Bree in my first 90 days, you're on the right call. In April, Bree issued over 22,000. In May, Bree issued right under $30,000. So year to date, if you will, or 90 days, I should say, 90 days. I'm not going to say year to date. 90 days, Bree has issued right under $90,000, which I think speaks volumes, because when you come into this business and you are slowing down to speed up, and then you're slowing down and you're speeding up, it's like, no. She came in with a serious barometer of this is what I'm doing. I'm going to follow instruction, and I'm going to let Bree tell her story. But Bree, you're with me. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing amazing. Thank you for asking. And I just want to make sure that we are indeed pinned. Um, so let's go ahead and do
Guys
that.
are, you're good.
Okay, awesome. Did I just ruin it, Christina?
No, I pinned you both though. You guys are good.
Okay, we're both on there.
Yeah, you're good.
All right, cool, awesome, and recording. Thank you, Jesse. You're the man for that. All right, so Bree, for those people out there that don't know you, haven't had the chance to meet you just yet, tell us a little bit about yourself. You know, where you're from, what you were maybe doing before insurance, what got you into insurance. Did you have prior sales experience, and why Family First Life?
Okay, first of all, thank you, Marisa, for having me on the call. When you asked me, I'm like, me? Like, it's still weird to me. It's still a little shocking. But I am from Omaha, Nebraska, born and raised. A little background about me. I was in the Army straight after high school. I did some security. Decided I wanted to go into healthcare. So I worked at the hospital from 2016 until about 2021 as a CT tech. COVID, was rough mentally on me. I went through some rough times myself mentally, survived luckily, got through some alcoholism. I shouldn't say got through, but struggled with that for a while. And then I decided just to do some personal shopping. And that worked until, it didn't. And I just wanted something more. And I remember about like 6 months ago, my boyfriend and I were just talking, and I was like, there has to be something, like, what kind of business can we start? And we just like racked our brains about it. I do have a friend that sells life insurance. I've never been in sales. If you know me, I've been told by my hairstylist, by my family, you're too nice, like you couldn't sell anything. And I just kind of started researching it on my own. I did ask my friend that sells, and she didn't want to give me any information. I'm not sure if she thought I was going to take her clients. It was weird. So I just started doing my own research. I signed up for a class through Kaplan University here, started doing that. And then I just started reaching out, and Family First Life, everything I saw on social media was just like the culture, like drew me in more than anything. And that's why I reached out. Luckily, thanking my lucky stars, I landed here, and as Rami would say, I landed in the Lamborghini instead of, trial and error through the bad ones. But I'm grateful to be here, and I'm grateful. however I got here, I'm here, and I'm not going anywhere.
Absolutely. I love that. And, I applaud you just for your background, with the Army, healthcare, like always helping people, right? Like being a CT tech in the hospital during COVID, I can only imagine what that looked and felt like and, the time and it's taxing and I can only imagine. But you also brought up personal struggles and I applaud you for being able to just humanize that because like guys, we're all struggling with something personally, including me and including you. Love you all, right? But what I love is just who you are, Brie. Like you're not scared to be like, okay, like my family all said I was too nice to ever sell anything. My friends, I'm too nice to ever sell anything. I have this friend in life insurance who wouldn't really give me a lot of information. But me and my boyfriend are sitting down, we're like, seriously, like what type of business can we start? And is it going to make sense? And you went ahead, you guys ended up doing your own research. Like you said, I love how you're like, I think my lucky stars, you know what I mean? Rami can't be more right. You did land in the Lamborghini, so did he, but he knows where I came from, guys. So if you are just getting started at Family First Life, like literally, guys, like you are in the best vehicle. And I don't just say that because I'm here. I say it because I've been in other vehicles. Okay. So like just like Bree said, the culture, all that stuff, like the comp, the culture, the training, the leadership, just doesn't match up anywhere else. Now, Bree, as a brand new agent, sometimes we can almost look at a brand new agent and we can be like, oh my God, they're doing so well for like a day, a week, a month, right? And they start picking up some momentum and then sometimes they'll lose it. But as a new agent, thinking back to even your first, 30 days, to your first 90 days, because we're still in the beginning, which is crazy to think. Why do you think you've been so successful? What are some of the things that you would attribute to that success?
Okay. So for one, we were talking a little bit earlier, like I felt like I could trust, my team. And even though some of the things that Rami was saying or like making me say, I was like, he's crazy, and like if I could take anything back, it would be like that I ever questioned anything because 100% I trust you guys. And if you tell me to do something, I know it's coming from a good place and I know that I'm not I'm the student here. I'm not the expert and I'm just trying to learn from everyone. Everyone talks so highly about you guys and I've really just, taken it all in. I know I understand I need to buy leads. I understand I need to stick to my schedule. And I do those things. And that's really all there is to it for me. I work really hard, I stick to my schedule and I ask questions, and I unmute, and I take the coaching, as to grow. I'm trying to grow because really if you guys hear me on the phone, I'm really not that good. I just work really hard. So the thing that I'm working on most right now is the skill to it. So
Absolutely. I love that. And I love how you were like, hey, like I felt like I can trust you. And, some of the stuff that Rami's telling me to say on the phone, it was uncomfortable, but I say it. And then after I see kind of why he's saying, all right, say this. And it might not be your go-to instinct, but it's helped you just, like you said, show up as that student. And Bree, I think it was just last week. Like, there was something, you were closing out with the client, they were giving you a little bit of back and forth, and Rami jumped in and he was saying some things that were a bit uncomfortable, but you repeated them. You smirked for a second and you repeated it right back to the person, but it helped you close it and it helped you seal that deal for like the longevity of it. So I love how you're open to doing things like that. Whereas other people in the past, will say something because we're trying to go somewhere. And instead of just picking up the ball and trusting it, we're second guessing it. And when after we get off the phone, we're like, oh, I couldn't hear you. It's like, we know y'all can hear us, just not everyone is listening. So, Bree, thank you for showing up as a student of the business. And one thing I will absolutely say about you is you buy leads and you stick to your schedule. And I think that that right there is like, for some agents, that's like half the battle, right? And I want to bring this up, Bree, and I hope that this doesn't make you uncomfortable because you had texted me the other day. I had sent out basically, guys, to my group an analogy about farming, about how you have to, plant seeds for seeds to grow. If you're not watering your garden, like it ain't going to grow. In other words, trying to correlate farming to life insurance in terms of making calls and why that is important. And I know that not everybody's confused about that, to say the absolute least. But one of the things I got from Bree, just so we can kind of understand like who she is. And I'm just trying to find this, Bree, because it was great. It was like one of the best text messages that I ever got my whole insurance career. But essentially what you said was, I was going to respond back to the farming analogy, but I just don't understand why people wouldn't be dialing when that's literally our job. And I was like, mic drop, you know what I mean? I was like, if everybody could handle that, like, guys, that is our job to buy leads, call them and help them, right? So Bree's basically like, hey, I love the analogy, but like that's what we all got to do last time I checked. So like, thanks for the motivation, but I don't need to be motivated. I'm motivated internally. And that's a powerful place to be. Buying leads and sticking to your schedule. Huge, guys. You can be like, I'm going to work the leads I had last week. I've made that mistake many times. And then it's like, you're just like playing like catch up and it just isn't a fun place to be. And asking questions. Guys, nobody expect, like, I will still unmute and be like, guys, just to triple check, like when SIWL goes graded, that means it has the 2 weight. Okay, you can never be scared to ask questions. Like, I know it has the 2 year weight, right? But like, no hurt in double checking. I don't know everything, that is for sure. I am still coachable and I've been in the industry for 9 years. Bree has wrote 90K in 90 days and she's not like, I'm lit and I don't need no help, right? She's like, I'm out here and I'm staying coachable. There's a difference, guys. So, you talked about showing up for your schedule. What makes this non-negotiable for you? Like, why show up every day and put in the time and effort? Like, what's your kind of your why behind this, Bree?
So, I mean, for one, I do like money coming in every week. Like I know I'm not going to get paid until I make that sale. I know that there's probably some chargebacks coming inevitably. So it's just common sense to me. I mean, I guess I don't have the excuse as like having kids and stuff, so I do have a little more time, but it's what I signed up for. I mean, I'm not where I want to be. I have a long way to go, and I know it's a numbers game. I know, like, I may dial 700, 800 dials one day and not get a sale, but I know I have to get those dials in because that's, the more dials I do, the closer I get to that one that's gonna bite. And I kind of lost track. Oh,
No, you're good. And I was just saying, so like, why is it
okay.
non-negotiable, which you just kind of answered. And what's your why? Like, why do you show up every day and, you want to get better?
Um, but this is where I want to be. Like I said, I've worked a lot of different careers and I've loved this since day one. Is it hard? Yeah. Is it, some days you're not wanting to dial? Yeah, totally. But I know that there's a reason that I have these hours, and I know I think it was Mary Craft said at the Ignite, she was just like, a lot of people join this business to get the freedom, but they don't want to do the work to get to that freedom. Well, I'm not at that freedom yet, and I'm not where I want to be. So I'm gonna keep going hard. Like, the minute I back down is the minute my sales go back, and I want to keep progressing, not going backwards, basically.
Amen to that. And what I will say, guys, like I don't have kids, and I'm not going to tell anybody what to do with their kids. But what I will say is, Bree, you have 2 dogs, right? I'm not
Yeah.
saying a dog is a kid. Rock with me, y'all, okay? But it is. Like that's like Bree's kids. Like I know what dogs like those are your kids, okay? So there are still things you have to do to take care of them, right? Like you gotta give them food. You gotta bring them on a walk. You gotta make sure they go to the bathroom, right? So it's like you do still have something else to mitigate at home. Like, is that fair to say? Because I feel like
Yes.
everybody wants to just like insert this excuse, like I have kids. Like I love y'all. I love y'all's kids probably even more. But what I will say is you cannot make your kids the excuse. Like you just like I love y'all. I don't have kids. I know you might be like she's not qualified to say that, but I just over the years it's drove me bananas because it's like, guys, there are so many successful parents in this business. Stop blaming your kids. Respectfully. Sean Mike had 2 adolescent children when he started this company. Stop blaming your kids. It ain't their fault. It's your fault. Restructure your schedule. I love you guys. There was just way too much happening in the comments about like I love y'all, I love y'all's kids, but again, we can't blame the kids. All right, guys? Like we can't blame the kids. Because if we're going to a 9 to 5, like the kids got to go somewhere, okay? Like that. So with that being said though, I love how you're like, well, like this is what I signed up for. And I think when you can say things like this is what I signed up for, I signed up to buy leads, call the leads, get better, help people with their life insurance, and get better as I'm moving through that. And I know that through time, I'll see freedom. But until I work my tail off, that freedom is going to take a bit longer. And I respect that thought process versus the thought process of I came in, I'm going to put my entitlement hat on because I worked hard for 2 weeks and I deserve to make $1 million a year. Guys, if that were the case, everybody would do this for 2 weeks, okay? So like, guys, that's just not the case, all right? Like Bree works her butt off and every top producer you see, guys, like look at the leaderboard and then just tell me like, do you ever see the people? Like, yeah, you do. I can tell you right now you do. Now, hitting on that, I think it's important. It's what you signed up for. I'm not going to get paid. You're aware there's chargebacks, guys. There's chargebacks on 100% of anybody's business is going to stick. And just understanding that time and the freedom component and how they interchange. I think that that's really important. Now, transitioning kind of into clients, okay? Because obviously you're dealing well with your clients, and I think that that's a beautiful thing. Sometimes when we're in a presentation, we might like, as an example, Bree, we might have like 4 appointments booked and they're at, like 6:37, 7:30, and 8, and they're all back to back, but like maybe you're running a little bit behind and you get on your 6:30 and you're late. We have one of two choices as an agent. We can listen to that family or we can rush through the presentation. Now, I've always been taught to love the one you're with, aka the one you're on the phone with or the one you're in front of. With that being said, Bree, talk to us a little bit about why you listen to what your client has to say while you're going through your process. Like, what's the importance of that? And if you could even point out a time that maybe like you did or you didn't, and kind of what that looked like and how it helped you or hindered you.
Okay. Yeah. So I mean, like you said, I try to stick to that. I love the one you're with. And I know that even though I have 3 appointments coming after, the chances of them all 3 answering are probably not, you know, they're probably not all going to answer. But I mean, you can't rush through that client because you're going to ruin it with that one and then maybe not get the next 3. It's just, I don't know. I just listen to them. I want to know where they're coming from and where I can be of assistance to them. It's not a rush for me. There's always tomorrow. I can work late. So that's, I don't know. I don't feel like I rush through anything. I mean, sometimes I let them talk a little bit too much. But the one thing I would say is that, God, I'm really struggling, guys. I'm nervous. I'm
Oh, you're
sorry.
doing great. You're doing
Um,
so. I was just saying why it's important to hear your client, like hear what they have to say. Like,
yeah, I mean, you might miss some pertinent information. If you don't know what they're doing, you're not going to be able to help them basically. And I
yeah,
don't
like
know.
it,
I don't see any reason to like rush through it with a client once you have them on the phone, I guess.
and like guys, that's the point right there. Exactly what Bree just said. Like, why
Okay.
would we rush through it, right? Like that would be super transactional. Like if Bree's like, okay, like she's like order taken. She's like, oh, like we're not over here. Like, okay, we want the fries well done. Like we're over here, guys. Like the day that somebody dies, like we are going to be the reason that they do or that they don't have coverage in place for their family. And if you can be on the phone and like internalize that, like take it seriously. Think about it. Is that your mother, brother, sister, cousin, aunt, uncle, grandmother, friend's grandmother, friend? Like, who is that you're talking to? Take your time, slow down, and just like Bree said, like, we don't know where you're trying to like. I need to know where my client's trying to go in order to get them there. I need to be able to find out what is the problem as to why they sent the request in until I can provide the solution, or it might not make sense, right? So I love that. Now, tonality is super important in this business, right? Like I know I have mornings, Bree. Like I wake up and I'm like, I call you and I'm like, hey, is this Bree? Like, okay, like tonality is super important. First of all, it's never is this Bree, it's hi Bree. But with that being said, why do you think tonality is really important? And how has your tonality helped you in the business thus far?
So I try to keep the same tone, but I can kind of judge when I can joke around a little and when I can't. But I'm trying to be more like business-like. I think I can joke around a little bit too much, and that takes my clients kind of out in left field. And then Rami's kind of like, you're losing the whole point. So, I'm trying to get better like that. But I just try to kind of, read what the client's thinking and respond in that way. If I need it, I probably need to work on being a little more stern, but just keeping an even tone throughout. You can't be too excited, commission breath or like you're super nervous. So I think I have a pretty good tonality on the phone.
You,
But a guy got me today because he was like, you're weak. I'm in sales. And I was like, okay, you're
ah,
right. I've only been doing this 3 months. Like I didn't tell him
right.
that, but I try to just sound confident even when I'm not.
I love that. And I think it's important, like Brie, thank you for like pointing that out because most people wouldn't be on this call being like, oh, like I had a guy and say like, and you're all like, by the way, I'm like, I get those people too. I love when people are like, I'm in sales. I'm like, great, like that's awesome. Like, let's do this thing, right? But with that being said, it's like, guys, we're not in cutthroat sales. Like we can make it cutthroat sales, but this does not need to be cutthroat sales. This can simply be questions and identifying. This is not like I'm not even going to go down that road because I'll start offending people and that's not what I'm here to do. But what I'm trying to say is even tonality. Guys, if you start going like they're like, "Oh, like yeah, you're like, you remember filling that was out, right? I have your date of birth is 12/17/90 and they're like, "Yeah." And you're like, "Yeah." So I'm like your whole tone change is like, Bree just got scared when I did that. Okay? Like your clients are going to get scared too. Like don't jump up, don't jump down. You got to meet them right here. No matter what they're saying, good, bad, indifferent, meeting them right here. And I feel like that's where your tonality is always at. You sound very calm, cool, collective. You're not speaking too quickly. You're not speaking too slowly. You're just nice and even keeled to the point. To be fair, Brie, I feel like anybody across the country can understand what you're trying to relay to them. And I think that that's really powerful because I know me over here in the Northeast, I'm like, dude, slow it down. Like I'm over here, like, right, even right now. But it's like, slow down, right? Other times it's like, pick it up, Chuck, right? But we got to stay right here. And then the nervousness. Hey, guys, it's normal to be nervous on the phone. I just want you to know that. It's normal. But at the same time, you got to remind yourself, like, hey, I'm just on a phone call with this person. And I am just trying to help them with the request that they sent in. And I'm following up on it, right? AKA, I purchased the lead. When you can call when that I'm busy, important, and in control type of mindset, just like Bree's talking about, and asking good questions, like that's where you're going to be in a winning space and a winning tonality. And I realized that quickly when I went from in-home to telesales. A lot of people didn't like me that lived, I would say, like south of Massachusetts, which is like every state. So I had to change my tonality up quite a bit. So guys, if you have to change yours, it's not something to be ashamed of. It's just something to recognize, be coachable, and then move on from. So I love that about you, Bree. Just again, it's the small things that make up the biggest difference. Okay, like that's why we're focusing on schedule, tonality, leads. Like you're gonna hear a lot of these things, guys, all the time, but it's because the people who are winning are doing the same things. Just like, like when you were a kid, the people who were winning at Monopoly, okay, they play Monopoly every weekend, all right? That's the best I have is Monopoly right now, but y'all get me. It's like let's do that. So with that being said, how important is it for you to have a good lead flow? Now, I love how you led with like, I know what I signed up for basically, right? Like there wasn't like a hidden, like, oh my God, you have to buy leads and you never knew you had to buy leads. Like you knew that coming in, right? So talk to us a little bit about how important it is to have a good lead flow. Was that scary for you getting started? And how has your lead flow kind of evolved since getting started to kind of established agent?
Yeah, so in the beginning, they kind of Rami kind of asked me like, am I able to invest in some leads? And mind you, it was, $175 age leads. That's how I got started. I mean, that's what I did my whole first month, I think. I was so excited when he said I could buy some new leads. But I was nervous, because I didn't want to burn through them. So starting off, I feel like, it's whatever you're comfortable with. And those aged ones, they do work. So that was my thing. And then it's like, you know, 10 times the profit when you sell one of those usually. So yeah, so that was easy for me. I was excited to start the new leads. So I started spending 13.50 a week, I think, on new leads, which I still do. And then I would buy an aged pack as well. So it was still around 1,500 a week. And that's what I've been doing for probably the last 2 months. For me, I don't think I've ever not made my money back, maybe one time. And then the next week I probably sold more than enough to cover any of that. So yeah, I've never been confused about that. I know I need leads to make money. And honestly, when I don't have leads coming in and I'm like, okay, I've called them 10 times this week, I'm just like itching for my new leads to come in. So now I'm going to start doing, two, two, two new packs a week. So one Sunday and one Wednesday. And I just feel like I hope every team's like this, but Rami like definitely coaches me on that, looks at the numbers with me and make sure I'm not doing anything stupid. I'm going to be profitable. So it's not uncomfortable for me. And if it is, then I'll just scale it back. So
Absolutely. I love that. And I love how you were like, getting started. Cause like, guys, like it's important that your lead flow evolves. So like if your lead flow is not evolving, like you're probably doing the same thing or debatably worse if it's not. So I love how you started like, hey, I started $175 age leads. Like the age leads work if you work them, but you got to work them and you got to take the feedback, right?
right.
And then like you said, selling one of those, it's like ROI is just through the roof. Like, but you weren't confused about that, Brie. You were like, I'm gonna take that money, I'm gonna reinvest it. Of course, I'm gonna pay my bills too because I'm working my butt off and but guys, rock with me on this. Her first full month, she was buying only age leads and issued almost $28,000. Like, so if you're saying the age leads don't work, I'm going to tell you, like, I think that you don't work. So, like, respectfully, because that's probably what it's going to come back to. Okay. Now, kind of being able to scale those leads up, that's a fun thing and it's a fun place to be when you're able to scale it up and you're basically able to have that just reoccurring. Like, you're not like worried about it. You're basically like, hey, I had this one age vet pack that I ordered on said day. Those come in, I supplement with an age pack. I'm now going to do that 2 times a week because I know how to work through my leads. That is extremely important place to be, guys. We want to be scaling in leads. That's not to say like, oh, Bree, no, like you have to do this, but it's Bree, if you want to do this amount of volume, this is how we can get you there. And guys, it's all numbers. So if you don't track your numbers because without numbers, it's really difficult for anybody to be able to really gauge what you might specifically need help with. And I love that. So now you're going to go ahead and kind of 2x that Sunday and Wednesday, which I love. That used to be like our in-home lead order days. So I love it because it's twice a week. You get those fresh leads. And like you said, it's also about when you wake up and look at your computer, are you excited or are you discouraged? Like, Bree, when you wake up and you just, you have brand, like, are you like, you're excited, right?
Of course, yeah.
Yeah, you're like, let's
I
knock
even
these
though
things down.
I'm sure there's some sales, in the ones from last week, but it's like, okay, I've been calling them for 5 days, twice a day. It's like, oh, I got some fresh, it's like the fresh meat. Let's go.
Exactly. You're like, let's do this thing. This is fun. These are new. They're exciting. So it's like, guys, like once you can up your profitability, like everything else kind of goes up with it. but you got to ride it out. Like your first 90 days, you got to be locked in. And if you can look at yourself and say, hey, I haven't been locked in my first 90 days. First of all, way to seriously be like self-accountable, but like restart your 90 days and get with your upline. I want to make a new 90-day plan if that's what you want. If that's not what you want, please don't waste anybody's time, okay? Now, more often than not, Bree, folks will get started in this business. They'll be off to a good start. You know, they'll have that $20,000, that $30,000 or $40,000 a month, whatever it might be. And they quickly forget about things like key things, like we just kind of hit on, like schedule, lead flow, coachability. You've already talked to us a little bit about what makes you show up every day and get the work in regardless of, you know, what's going on or what happened the day before, whether you wrote 10 grand that day or you wrote 0, you're showing up and it seems like you're starting from scratch that day, which is a good thing. Now, being able, guys, I just want to like hone in on this. Being able to show up for 90 days, could any of us do it? Yeah. Are we all going to do it? Absolutely not. Really, where I'm going with this is we're going to start forgetting about schedule, lead flow, and coachability. Bree has already hit on how I just want to like hit on this. She follows her schedule, like literally to a T. I've never seen Bree like not on when she's like supposed to be on in accordance to her schedule that she made for herself, which same thing, like we all have the power to do that. So like, again, reset your 90 days. Lead flow. Bree just talked about she's doubling down her lead flow. Why? Because she can. She's in a place of profitability. She's like, I'm writing about 30. Like, let's gauge this. Let's go for 60. Like, let's go for 80. Why can't we do that? She absolutely can. And then coachability. Bree just talked about this. Hey, some of the stuff that Rami says is still uncomfortable till this day. But I've learned to trust him enough to say those things because it's working for me. And I'm never not going to show up and be a student of the business like when I'm still learning the business. So that's huge. But in terms of being a flash in the pan, what I mean by that, Bree, is people will show up for like a month and they'll be like, I'm awesome. And I wrote 20 grand and I'm really happy for them. I really am if they keep showing up. But then they'll stop showing up. They'll be like, oh, I'm going to take half the week off and follow half of my schedule. Like things like that, guys, are what's going to derail you quicker than anything. I'm going to take a vacation. I know not everybody likes Disneyland. Some people like Aruba. Like I like Jamaica. Don't go on vacation your first 90 days. Respectfully, I love you. Unless it's to an event, try to hold back on that. You might be making more money than you ever have, but like pull yourself back from that. And what I'm saying here and highlighting, guys, is schedule, lead flow, coachability. We're all capable of we control those things, okay? We all have a coach. Go to the dial team. You'll get coaching if you want it. But regardless of that, Bree, what makes you know that here in this industry, you're not going to be the kind of person that you come in, you do well for 90 days, and then you just are like, all right, I made like a lot of money, so I'm just going to take a month off. Like, why are you not going to be a flash in the pan?
So, I mean, consistency, I know with everything I do, is key. I don't know why I would stop doing the things that I'm doing now. And I had to be reminded today, that I need to unmute because I mean, that's what got me to where I am. And now I'm getting in these bad habits of not unmuting. And I need to continue to do the things, that got me here. Like, I'm definitely not there. Like, I definitely need some help with that, like, calls and, I think objections, I take decently, but I definitely don't push. And so, it's time to perfect now that I got the lead flow down and the coachability, I need to perfect my skill. So I'm just, I'm not anywhere near where I want to be professionally or, financially right now. So why would I pump the brakes? That's, I'm ready to continue to go up. I don't want to go backwards. So I mean, I don't know. I'll take a month off, when I get there, but I'm 3 months in, there's no reason to slow down now.
Absolutely. And like, I love that answer because I don't think there could be a more authentic answer. Why would I stop doing the things that got me here? Right? It's like, guys, why would any of us stop doing the things that got us to a solid place? Like, we shouldn't, we wouldn't, like, I don't know, or maybe we would. But with that being said, even if you feel like you've already perfected everything you could possibly perfect, you're saying, no, I haven't. Marisa, you're over here saying I did 90K in 90 days, but there's still skills I need to learn and there's still things I want to work on. I'm not where I want to be financially. I have goals for myself, for my family, and I'm going to get there no matter what, and no one's going to get in my damn way. Like, that's kind of what I'm hearing from you, Bray. Like, why would I let them, right? Like, you're
Yes,
not letting
totally.
up. Yeah, like Bree's like she's
No.
just not confused. And guys, when you see like kind of the reactions when I'm asking the question of like almost like unfazed, it's like when you can be in that place, you're in the place of power in a 1099 position. And I think that that's a really, really fun place to be, especially in a 1099 position. Because guys, we all went 1099 for a reason. You could say, I went 1099 because I wanted to work from home. Well, I mean, if that was your number one reason as to why you came into the business, I probably wouldn't have hired you because you're probably not going to work from home. But with that being said, my point is guys, we're all here getting better one day at a time. Everybody. Whether you think like, oh, like nobody's as good as Bree, it's like, okay, I guarantee you there's a person out there that's doing just as good as Bree and also realizes they need to perfect their skill, perfect their craft. The way I always looked at this, guys, was they always say like that line, like 10,000 hours is going to make you like a professional at anything that you do for 10,000 hours. Now, I've never clocked my 10,000 hours, guys, but what I'm saying is if you can view this like it's 4 years of college, okay? Like it's 4 years of college. And when you're done, you're going to be making doctor money as long as you plug into college and you don't flunk out. Think about that, guys. We are literally making doctors' income. So with that being said, like, why would you let up? I don't know, and Bree don't know either. We're like, we have no idea why you would let up. Now, with that being said, Bree, just to kind of wrap up the call, I know it's getting late. I just wanted to see in terms of bringing your client to an important place. Now, what I mean by that is we usually get hung up on in one of three places. The introduction, so right at the beginning, when we go to have them get a pen and paper or schedule an appointment, or when we're about to pitch options because things don't make sense. Now, what are some of the things, Bree, that you do intentionally in your introduction to make sure that the person knows, like, or just would you role play your intro with me? Let's reverse engineer it. You're calling vet leads, right?
Uh, yes.
Okay.
You want me
Um,
to call you?
yeah, I'm gonna have you call me.
Okay. Ring, ring.
Hello.
Hi, Marisa. This is Breanne Kimberling. I'm just getting back to you about a request you made online for veteran life insurance where you put your date of birth 8/18/64. Is that correct?
Yeah. Now, guys, she didn't let me, she wasn't rude, but she said she just talked until she had a question. Like clearly she's not a telemarketer. She's getting back to me about the request I sent in. She's verifying an information, like my date of birth, and then she's letting me talk. If some of us could just get down that piece, don't let them talk until you verify and ask a question, we would be doing a heck of a lot better. Because that intro, Bree, it's like you're not aggressive, you're addressing who you are, why you're calling, and verifying a piece of information. Now, in terms of pitching options, Bree, that closing question, or you show that bronze, silver, gold, or that ABC, or however, you I believe you do bronze, silver, gold, right?
I do. Mhm.
Okay, so walk me through, you just showed me my bronze, silver, gold option, like that closing question, if you will.
So at the end, I just say which one of these meets your needs and budget best. So yes or yes. They can't just say, yeah.
Which one fits your needs and budget best? And do you ever talk after that, Bree? Like, unless they ask you a question?
No, first person that talks loses. So I've learned to not.
Yeah, Bree learned she's not losing, she ain't a loser, so she's not gonna talk first. Like, guys, sometimes we just have to stop. You might be like, yeah, so do you, Marisa. I know, but sometimes we have to just stop talking, okay? Like, and it's the best thing we can do for ourselves and our business in that moment is just stop talking. Like, which one fits your needs and budget best? Some of us want to make like this intricate closing question. Now, if yours is intricate and it works, beautiful. But like Bree's showing the options, which one fits your needs and budget best? Like she said, yes or yes, right? And Bree, at that point, do they usually like pick an option?
Yes. I mean, okay, sometimes I'll say, "Oh,
Yeah.
we need to think about it." And then you just hit them with the next one, There's nothing to think about because we don't know if you qualify.
Right. Like Bree's already ready. Like there's nothing to think about. We don't even know if you qualify. Like what's next, right? Like when you can frame your question like that and you can realize, guys, like people are not at home, like, oh, what are we gonna throw Bree today in terms of at the end? Like they're not gonna be like, well, first I have to buy my pet rabbit and then I'll get back to you. Like, okay, I mean, I would be really thrown off, but like no one's at home like thinking about that, guys. Like they're gonna say, it's too high, like I can't afford it, right? Which we can then bring the premium down, no big deal, okay? Or they're gonna pick an option, right? Which is not an objection. Or they're gonna be like, I need to think about it, which Bree just addressed. Or they're gonna be like, B, what's next? It's like there's only a couple of things that they can say. That's really where I'm trying to go with this. And guys, I think that if you can take the pressure off of yourself and ask the same closing question every time, I know like once I ask my closing question, Brie, it's almost like I'm done. Like almost like I know they're like they're gonna probably pick one. I did my job throughout the presentation to be proactive versus reactive. So like unless I missed something, which I might have, I'm not perfect either, like they're probably gonna pick one. And if not, I'm just gonna reiterate what I already told them at the beginning, right? Like, Bree, you're telling them we're gonna take the application today and get it sent up for final approval. They don't feel kidnapped, guys. So they're typically just gonna pick an option. Or they need that little bit extra of a push where Bree's like, we don't know if you qualify. So what exactly is it that you need to think about? Like, let's get the application sent up. Like, you want it. Like let's do this thing. Like we're not dancing for no reason. So guys, it's always going to come back to if they don't pick an option, it's usually trust or finances. And based off of your inventory and how you presented yourself from start to finish, you should know if it's trust or finances. Now, if you don't, one thing I always say that has helped me, but also it's allowed my clients to be brutally honest with me is, okay, if they won't pick an option for like, they're like, oh, no, I need to think about it. They give me all, and I'm like, okay, that Bree, clearly I did my job a bit wrong today. And I do apologize for that. Now, is the reason for you not choosing an option because you can't afford it or because you don't trust or like me? My feelings won't be hurt. And guys, like 90% of the time, they're like, I can't afford it. Okay, cool. We can drop the coverage. But if we don't allow them to be honest with us, just like we were honest with them through the conversation, is it really a two-way street? Like, no. You know what? I did have this guy, like, literally, Bree, to your point, like, not everyone's perfect, right? Like our clients, and neither are we, by the way. I had this guy, I used that on him, and I genuinely in my heart, I was like, oh, this guy trusts me. It's just going to be affordability. We're going to lower it a bit. It's going to be all good to go. And I was like, like, is it because like it's an affordability issue or do you not like or trust me? And he said, well, typically you're not someone I'd vibe with. And I was like, okay, like I hear you. Like what does that mean to you, Kevin? And Kevin was like, I don't know, like it just I don't know, the vibe is off. And I was like, all right, Kevin's not my client. And that's okay. But when I get off the phone, I just want resolution on why Kevin's not my client versus going crazy like, why couldn't Kevin make a decision? It's like we usually have our answer at the end. And guys, if you don't ask, the worst they're going to do at that point is be, I don't like you, I don't trust you, bye. Like, and they're not even ever going to say that. Like, I've literally, like, Kevin was a unique situation, but I learned a lot from Kevin, right? I don't vibe with everyone. Hashtag vibe with Kevin. That's right, Dennis. You already know. But with that being said, Bree, just to kind of wrap the call up, anything else that you feel like is important to share or that you would want to just share with a new agent or anybody that might be struggling right now?
I just honestly, I'm not doing anything special. Like I said, I think that, I think it's important. You can ask questions all day, but if you're not implementing it and you're not, taking the coaching, like it's you're not only not helping yourself, but you're annoying probably your upline. So I would, definitely try to implement what they're telling you. Unmute. I've been bad about that lately. Definitely unmute. That's honestly like how I sold so much in the first 30 days because I literally every time I got someone on the phone, I unmuted. and yeah, just stay coachable, ask questions. Like everyone seriously wants you to win. And that's why I love this culture. I love it. I've never been more supported in, not only professionally, but also like my, mental things. Like everyone sincerely cares about your well-being, wants you to get better and wants you to win. Like, and so just take advantage of it. Don't let it, don't let this opportunity pass you by, because you don't want to do the work. So that's all I would say. I'm grateful every day that I landed here. And yeah.
I love that. So guys, stay coachable, right? Stay humble. Make sure if you're asking for advice, you're implementing it. And unmute, 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 unmute. And Bree, just to wrap the call up, tell us a little bit about your goals, whether it's business, personal, or both, wrapping up 2025, because I'm really excited for you.
I'm excited. I'm going to try to get to 40K a month starting next month. And then I would like to, I probably need to sit down and figure out a goal, but I want to save enough for a down payment on a house. When our lease is up, I want to buy a house. And also another professional goal, I'm going to start building a team. I have 2 coming on right now. And then my niece, she's studying for her test. So that's really my goal. Ultimately, I want to perfect my skill set and help other people win because, give back what's been so freely given to me.
I love that, Bree. And no doubt you're going to knock down 40K this month. I'm not confused about it at all. Save enough for a down payment on that house. There's nothing that will make me happier than seeing you guys move into your new home. And I know it's just a matter of time. And then starting to build that business. And I love how you said, essentially building that skill set and being able to pass it over to others, just like it has been to you, because that's all it is. It's a teachable and learnable skill set. And if we all just dive in and hone in enough, we're able to learn that. Bree, I really appreciate you taking the time and tuning in with us tonight. I know that we went a little bit over, but it was well worth it. I appreciate you, everything you're doing. I'm so proud of you, and I'm excited for what's to come. Sky's the limit. Thank you so much for being on with us tonight.
Way
Thank
to
you.
crush it, Bree.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Marisa. And thanks for
Way to
everyone
go.
for all, and
Whoop,
all the
whoop.
support always.
Nice
You
job,
got
y'all.
it.
Welcome,
Let's
Bree.
crush
Thank
it,
you.
guys. Peace out.